All right, the entity is monitoring on the venue of the internet, and that's why you see seconds later, after I took an image of what is a very subdued and covered up light source, it is shining more clearly, aiming more engineered light because they're monitoring. I'm uploading a video up to my up onto my Google Drive. But I want you to see this video because the entity is maintaining a light source directly over me. It's not the sun that's over my head in its zenith at the Rancho Cucamonga Superior Court, located at 8300 Haven Avenue in Rancho Cucamonga, California, during daylight savings time. This is capturing what is the specific environment which I went to the extent to document, because this entity that is engaged in the criminal system of surveillance and criminal activity on the venue of the internet with communication devices. This is this is wholeheartedly in every regard, not only online, but physically in person, state surveillance. Every aspect of your life, 24 hours a day, in concert with the people. And this light source is over my head. This is exactly what was occurring while LAPD was demonstrating their demon possession. That's what the demon possessed do. They want to pace around. A demon in a helicopter will fly in a circle to accomplish that same thing. And it's criminal because the government's keeping you under surveillance and showing that they're demons. That's going to be prosecuted as terrorism. And they're doing so in a specific environment. And in that video that I captured, the light source, in the same way, is exhibited because you see my shadow. And this is not the natural environment because, first of all, the sun's not going to be at the Rancho Cucamonga Superior Court while I am there. As a matter of documentation, I'm uploading the video right now for the world to witness what is speaking to the specific environment. And I remain there capturing another video on the same day on the backside of the courthouse at 10:30 in the morning. And I'm referencing the demons, the same entity, the Ontario Police Department, in concert with the people of the state who engaged in kidnapping, which is a threat to your life, that the entity that is living around you, engaging in surveillance 24 hours a day, that's why they go to federal prison. This same entity that's hostile to being exposed, that is showing that ongoing obsession, that ongoing impunity, which is exhibited on the venue of the internet by speaker companies personnel. These text messages they're monitoring while I'm capturing video of the entity flying around in a helicopter. This is massive surveillance and impunity and malice. They're the same people of the state that engage in summoning that entity that is stalking you in a helicopter. All right, that is psychotic. Okay, this is the malice of that state system, though, and they are creating a whole narrative, whereas the target individual is silenced. Okay, and no one's going to believe you. Well, actually, the police are stalking me, and they called the police on me, and actually, all these people are harassing me all the time, and they're following me also. But the target individual doesn't have any evidence of it. The target individual can't even necessarily describe how these people that they're seeing and don't know are stalking them. Okay, this is understanding the complexity and the malice of what is group stalking, understanding what it is and how it operates, which the ordinary target individual does not have. And beyond that, you're understanding what is necessarily a matter of discernment, because it's not just criminal presence in the path, it's demonic activity. All right, so the inability to describe how you know that a helicopter is following you around from place to place, even though you don't even hear it, and so you don't even see it. You hear it, but where is it at? All right, so this is understanding the demonic weapons that they use, the demonic methods, which is psychologically torturing. All of this is psychologically torturing. This is documentation which is not only prosecuting the state of California, it is revelatory with regard to what the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department has been documented engaging in. This is the unmistakable pattern of conduct. It is incriminating, and it is prosecuting the people of the state. All 59 units are going to federal prison here. The people of the state that live on the hillside, on the opposite side of Glendale Boulevard, there is a radius of relevant positioning. The federal law is going to reach out and touch every single last one of them with a federal prosecution. They're going to maintain what is a criminal record and be maintained on a list, by the Department of Justice as group stalkers, and that's going to be understood in this country and across the world. But it's going to be something that you do not want attached to your name, and so California is going to be an example. You are understanding what is impossible. The sun is never going to be here, whether the entity, this demonic control of the unnatural environment, because it's not the natural environment, and you know that because you're looking at the light source, you're looking at my shadow, suggesting that that's the sun over me. And also documentation that already shows, you already know it's rising and setting at the same address, and you're not forgetting that. So this is literally the demonic trying to cover up a light source that you already know is here all day long. And all I'm doing is reminding you of where else and who else is incriminated by this and who's prosecuted by it. That entire courthouse of Rancho Cucamonga Superior Court, exercising fictitious authority under the law, monitoring, engaging in what is the exercise of fictitious authority in concert with these demon-possessed agencies who are flying in circles, stalking and keeping under surveillance in helicopters while they're driving around focused on the targeted individual, psychopaths who are coming to the crime scene so that they can be present physically and stalk and terrorize you, because they're always stalking in the path. That's an entire psychopath, okay? Yes, they will be subject to what are mental examinations upon federal prison, and they will forever be done with law enforcement. Every single last person affiliated with the legal profession profession inside of the Rancho Cucamonga Superior Court is done with the legal profession. They're going to be prosecuted as well. Those that participated in any capacity in the kidnapping that I suffered through this entity, they're going to federal prison. Okay, but this is removing any sort of legitimacy. This is a matter of public corruption, and the Rancho Cucamonga Superior Courthouse is engaged in the state's pattern of conduct. And this is also shown through the San Bernardino Superior Court, and there is no covering up of the light source that's ever going to rebut that. The entity has already proven what it is engaging in, and this is how you capture Satan. When Satan thinks he's getting away with something, that's when he shows all of his true colors, okay? Not on the day when he's now fearful and putting things together, understanding what awaits him, all right, on the world scene. And that's why you're not in any way confused or forgetting about what's already been documented, which is the maintenance of a light source from the beginning to the end of the day, and then even putting it through my bedroom window. You're going to remember that idiocy, that asininity, that psychologically torturing criminal conduct. That is as a matter of documentation to be used against the whole government. The Los Angeles Sheriff's Department, the Los Angeles Police Department, the people of the state, everybody here at Alvarado Gardens is going to federal prison based on it. And the Rancho Cucamonga Superior Court, that's going to be the removal of a state facilitating venue. It is a wound, all right? You're talking about demon-infected minions that are working at a courthouse, facilitating criminal monitoring, engaging in what is obstruction of justice. That's why you entertain a fictitious prosecution. That's why you entertain what are fictitious charges, literally creating the narrative in real time, making up court hearings. Remember, it's not just the pattern of conduct, it's not just the light source. They directly engaged in obstruction, denying someone fully capable of articulating my own rights and the laws, which they have authority and don't have authority to keep me. They don't have any whatsoever. But even in giving them and conceding in their illusion of exercising authority, they were clearly outside of the bounds of the law that they are masquerading authority under, keeping you in jail where you have not had an arraignment, and then when you are remaining there, not having any additional court hearings, making up court hearings, making up relationships with mental health professionals who are, by the way, in the facilities group stalking, just like the demons you see here in the engineered light. It is an all manner of an attack of a person and an extremely egregious method of depriving the ordinary target individual of their right to court, which I want to be clear, this is what I'm stating. This is what is so imperative with regard to blowing the whistle on this issue of public corruption that is also rooted in the courts. It's the Sheriff's Department and the courts. The Los Angeles Sheriff's Department and the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department have clearly demonstrated that for you. And it's not just limited to Southern California. I'm letting you know what the entire state of California is engaging in. How do you know that? Because the demonic are imitating the natural environment, which, pray tell, what is that light source that's above them in Northern California? You pick a city, you pick a county, because it's not the sun. It's not the natural environment. This is what's going on in the whole state. I'm revealing it while I am in Southern California. And it's also speaking to what's going on in the rest of the country, because there's only one sun. All right. So like I said, this is I'm going to upload that video to the Compare the P.O.C. and it is it is the federal prosecution of the government. That's the police. That's the sheriff. That's the court. And that's the entirety of the system. And by the way, the civil courts were also prosecuted by virtue of my documentation. This same state that engages in this system and engaged in what is a criminal deprivation of your First Amendment right to redress in the courts. And they do that by denying service of process, evading service of process is what it's referred as. And the Supreme Court, the California Supreme Court engaged in that, a very plain violation. Any and every, that is a fundamental basis for what is federal prosecution for facilitation by the state. All right, you are denying what is service of process. This is basic. This does not require any sort of rigorous mental or legal analysis whatsoever. And the California Supreme Court, the California Appellate Court, Riverside District, specifically the 4th District, engaged in criminal facilitation. And the San Bernardino Superior Court is documented not only in paperwork and court documents, which I maintain, but also the specific environment that is at that venue where I was deprived of my rights to bring my court against the state. And that was years ago. And like I said, Thomas Garza, he's going to federal prison, all right? And that court is filled with what are group stalkers that are on the bench. They're practicing law, and they are monitoring with the people of the state who do nothing other than enter in that courthouse and engage in the same exact criminal system under the fake sun and indirected light, while, by the way, the entity is stalking in helicopters, which is what is shown with the San Bernardino courthouse at Arrowhead and I believe 3rd Street in San Bernardino, California. And the entity was also group stalking but in helicopters. I documented all that. This is 2019 when I initiated my case. So I'm going through all that because you're understanding what is the grounds of federal prison. The entity that kidnaps you, the entity that engages in criminally summoning, the entity that is stalking you. They're all stalking you, and then the stalker is summoning the highest threat, the entity to come to your face and threaten you, and then engage in kidnapping you. That's a threat to your liberty in and of itself. Just seeing them, hearing them, the sirens, understand the P.O.C. That's a threat. They're stalking you. Understand all which is reasonably construed through the pattern of conduct. I want you to see something way in the background. All right, that's engineered light that's covering in the distance. It's impossible light activity. You're looking at what is the presence of the light source that would be over me, but then you're looking at what's supposed to be illuminating buildings. That's impossible light activity. All right, it's all impossible light activity because the entity is the demonic imitation of the natural environment. Never will there be any sun over any of these buildings, these skyscrapers in Los Angeles, California, while the light source is remaining over me at Alvarado Gardens as a matter of evidence already captured. And while it's here and remaining here, it's never out there. It's never anywhere else. And that is, again, not a matter of rocket science. You have also the maintenance of the light source at venues such as the Rancho Cucamonga courthouse, which at 9:53 a.m. I'm still there, and at 10:30 I'm capturing the light source. And then you already have the documented presence of the light source here. There's not going to be any sunlight over any skyscraper or any courthouse or any of these buildings over in Los Angeles. You're understanding what is the specific environment. And it is, again, revealing not only the criminal system by a government in concert with the people for which there is no warrant or probable cause existing. There's no constitutional basis whatsoever for a government to keep an innocent American citizen under surveillance in the demonic methods employed by a corrupt government, as you have seen. It doesn't exist. There is no grounds for the people to maintain criminal presence in that specific environment, which is what the demon-possessed population are secretly doing. And then you are witnessing and seeing not only their demon possession, but the true psychopath that wants to remain hidden while they continue to obsessively engage in their criminal system in the face of evidence of that they're engaging in it. That's why they're going to be subject to mental examinations. They're going to be placed in mental facilities, and they're going to federal prison. Okay? It is currently, again, 9:54 a.m. The impunity is also exhibited by speaker companies' personnel on the communication device on the venue of the internet. This is what is the ongoing obsessive endeavor to this doesn't even look normal on its face, but like I said, this is a demon, and this is the entity that is engaging in this while they listen to their prosecution. This is the kind of conduct that they engage in. And so the federal government, third parties just like this, they're going to be taken against their will and placed in mental facilities, and they're going to federal prison. All right, this is a threat to the targeted individual while they are maintaining criminal presence on behalf of the state, and they with impunity engage in the same exact pattern of conduct, showing what is their mental instability. That's audible activity, relevant positioning. This is P.O.C. It is currently 9:54 a.m. What you're going to witness, you're going to remember, I'm going to upload to the Compare the P.O.C. folder, which is the prosecution of all the people of the state. You got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of prosecutions that are waiting to happen. And impunity attributed to all of them while I'm documenting LAPD posing a threat in concert with all of them. The entity is maintaining the light source. I'm going to upload video about the San Bernardino courthouse, about the Rancho Cucamonga courthouse, and then you're going to remember the kidnapping at Economy Inn at 2301 South Euclid Avenue, where the entity is maintaining the light source over me at 10:48 in the morning. And you will see groups stalking by the state, fire truck, ambulance, and sheriff's department. And then I'm going to remind you about what the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department is doing in Pomona, daylight savings time at 9:03 in the morning, where you're looking at LAPD flying in circles, being an outwardly, not being an outright demon and stalker and psychopath. All of that is captured in the evidence. All right, it is currently, again, 9:55 a.m. These are demons that are down here. Any and everything that you see and hear is occurring with regard to the pattern of conduct. And they're all sex offenders monitoring me while my panties are down and illuminated light is appearing on my ceiling. And all of that criminal system sexual violence is going to be attributed to them. And you have many, many minor children that are going to be removed from the people of the state as that ongoing impunity is captured through the audible activity, through the light activity, through the specific environment, through the stalking conduct by the state. All right, that malice of that pattern of conduct is going to be flipped on its head, and the prosecution is going to in every way execute justice. It is currently 9:56 a.m. and this is P.O.C. That was Jung Pak showing impunity on behalf of the state. Hi, Carol. P.O.C.